hi to you and your fur babies. And I'm so excited. This is another wonderful show, another great episode. And I'm really excited about our guest, Jen. How are you doing, bestie?
I am good, Vasi. How are you? How are you? I hope you have come out of you've swam out of the rain and the very strange weather that you were having in Florida. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise. Yes, we survived. It was a lot of rain. Unfortunately, we lost some trees, but the most important, we and our loved ones are okay. And most of the people in our area, that's what we can ask for. And so I'm very excited about our special guest today in the show. You always come up with the best guest speakers ever.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wish I could take all of the credit, but yes, I'm very, very excited because our speaker and our guest today really marries the worlds of charity and advocacy, and you're gonna get to meet her before she hits the catwalk for us in a few short weeks. Excuse me, few short months. I wish. Look, I'm losing it. I'm already losing it. In a few short weeks, she will be hitting the catwalk, walking with us on Friday night. So very, very excited about that. And I think that really right now, and just coming off of Women's Month and celebrating women and resiliency and self-care and just really strength and really overpowering and really conquering things. We've talked about it in past topics and past speakers, but really exciting that tonight we have Mrs. South Carolina International Phaedra Pistone. And Phaedra, I don't want to, because she's definitely not defined by this, but what really struck me about her, and I'll only speak a little longer before I shut up and let her tell her story. She is not a once, but a two-time breast cancer survivor. So in between battling cancer, she was literally snatching crowns. So winning state titles, getting lumpectomies, coming back and getting another one, running a business. She's a firm mom. She's an advocate. She has a business. She has a brick and mortar store. So I think that it's really incredible. And as I've said before, I think that I would just be laid up with, a Sbarro's pizza after the cancer diagnosis. But Phaedra has quite obviously did not. And I'm really anxious for her to talk about how she just looked it in the eye and conquered it, not once, but twice. So thank you, Phaedra, for being here and for being so transparent and sharing your story. And you don't know what you're getting into in a couple of weeks with all these fur babies that you're gonna have, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. What a great introduction. Wow, I feel really special now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Special. We are very excited.
Please, I don't know if it's to say if you start at the beginning, but wherever you feel comfortable starting, please tell us how you kicked cancer's tush, not once, but twice.
I love that. And that is truly the mindset that I had, was to kick cancer's butt. The first time that I got it was back in 2016 is when it all first started. And it was to be transparent, like we're talking about, it was scary. It was something that I honestly never expected. No one in my family has breast cancer, so it was definitely out of the blue. I just felt something, I talked to my husband. I was like, hey, I don't know what this is, but this is not right. And he's like, let's just go get it checked out. It's probably nothing. I had implants at the time. So went to the doctor, was not old enough at that time to have a routine mammogram. So it was just, I had to go to my primary care physician, talk to them, get a request for them to send in so that I could go to the doctor to be able to be seen for a mammogram. Did the mammogram. The weird thing for me, because I had never done it, I didn't know the process of how it all works. So we did the mammogram, and then she's like, oh, I'm going to need you to come do an ultrasound. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, what are you even talking about? I thought you just do a mammogram and then you're done, right? So I went in that
And I'm
room.
sorry to cut you off, Phaedra, but I think this is important. So please, because it wasn't a mammogram that clued you in. So please, was it self-checking that you felt something that didn't quite feel right?
That is correct. So the first time was me just randomly being, something told me like, hey, something's weird. And like I mentioned, I had implants. So a couple years prior to that, I had a fold in the implant. So, I'm thinking maybe there's something weird with the implant. It seemed off and weird, but it was something, I always say be your own advocate because you know your body best. And my
Amen.
thing is also to check your two on the two, because if you do that, you're going to know regularly if there is something wrong that you need to go to the doctor about, or, let someone know like, hey, this feels weird. What do you think? If you're asking your friend, your husband, whoever it may be, and then go from there. But it was something that I felt, went into the doctor and did a mammogram at that time. The mammogram did show that. The ultrasound confirmed that. A week later, I went back. I remember it was a Tuesday. I was at work. I remember getting this email for an appointment that Friday. I'm like, that's super weird. Like, why would I be getting an appointment on Friday when I'm going into the doctor's right now to know if this was cancer? They brought my husband and myself into this room, set this big binder down in front of us. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, what is this? And they're like, well, trying to tell you the best that they can tell you this awful news is your life totally changes in an instant, which it did for me that day. You have breast cancer. And like everything, I can just still remember, like everything that day was so hard. Like, I wanted to cry, scream, shout. I'm like, why me? Like, what did I do wrong for this to come in my path? Um, but it was a hard day. So what, left there, surrounded myself with family and friends, trying to just grasp what all of this meant. And I was, in the process of doing pageants, things that went through my mind. Am I going to die? Will I lose my hair? Will I be able to do the things again that I love, that I enjoy day in and day out? Those were the things that I had, in my mind. We chose to do a lumpectomy January of the next year. This was the fall when I found the cancer. And, we chose that because I felt like I was stage 1 and that was the best thing for me at the time. I didn't understand chemo and radiation, which they recommended. I feel like that's something they kind of recommended at that time to everyone. I don't know if everyone needs that, but again, everyone needs to be their own advocate and do what's best for them. So I changed my diet a little bit, ate a little bit better. Not that I ate bad before, but I tried to juice a little bit. I tried to not stress out as much, which that was really hard to do. And then, I kind of sat around, like going into the surgery, I was so good because I knew I was getting that cancer out and that I, was going to feel so much better. But then I did sit around for a little bit trying to heal from the surgery and stuff. And I just kind of lost track of me. I lost who I was and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. And I just one day said, okay, stop. You're a business owner, you're a wife, you're a fur baby mom. You have so much going for you. You need to get back up and do something that's going to pull you out of this funk. And what it was a pageant. And you said it best when you spoke about me in the beginning. I, kept fighting. I kept working for these crowns and these sashes because I felt like there was a reason why I got this breast cancer. And it was for me to take that and share it with other people. It wasn't about me anymore. It was about me sharing this beautiful message of hope and healing to other women, and how don't let cancer take that from you. That is one thing that we do not choose in life. It chooses us. I don't know why. For me, I know it was for me to share it on a bigger platform to reach so many women. And that's why every day I get up and do the best that I can do to try to share that message and reach as many women as I can. So they too can be sitting here today talking to you lovely ladies about their journey and how they've conquered cancer, kicked it in the bud, and they keep fighting every day to give women hope. Because, you know, at the end of the day, that's all I felt like I had: faith, hope, family, friends, but it just kind of kept me going. So once the cancer came back almost 2.5 years later, you know, at that time, it was like, I really didn't have a choice besides do a double mastectomy. So that's what I did. I was actually Mrs. North Carolina America, and that pageant was August. I found out in April of that same year that the breast cancer came back.
How did you know? Did you know? Did you have a feeling?
My routine, because I didn't elect to do the chemo and radiation, I went and did a body scan, a bone scan to kind of set my body to see where I was at, making sure it wasn't anywhere else. And then I would go back every 6 months. I would do a mammogram, and then I would do an MRI. So every 6 months I did that. That was my protocol for keeping me healthy and okay, and hopefully, you know, praying that it doesn't come back. It did, found it again in the mammogram. And at that time, you know, it was hard again. You can only imagine the second time. And, you know, you go back and you're like, oh God, what if I would have done all this other stuff? Would I be okay today? Who knows? But I just know for me that I needed to be strong where I was at in my life, that excuse me, I felt like doing those things would kind of hold me back. And I was like, I'm going to live the best life that I can with what I have. And if I need to do that later, then I will. But we went in for the mastectomy, and I chose not to because everything's gone. So I'm thinking in my mind, okay, you've taken everything off. What would there be? And it's not it didn't go past the lymph nodes or anything. So I'm thinking like, it's not in my body. So again, I elected not to do the chemo and radiation because for me, in my mind, I felt like I'm good, right? And I'll be celebrating 4 years this month, coming up cancer-free the second time. So I'm excited for that. Usually 5 years is the hurdle to jump across. So, you know, hopefully we will get there. I know we will get there.
Yes.
But it was a little bit harder the second time. But again, I was like, I am not letting cancer take this from me. It's taken so much, I feel like, from me, and I am not going to do that. And I have, you know, taken that pain and turned it into a purpose and used the platform, the shiny microphone, the crown and sash to share this message, to be a part of amazing events like this one coming up. So excited. Thank you for that. Thank you for opening doors for women of all walks of life and letting them share a beautiful message and be a part of something more than themselves. So I'm so grateful and thankful that you guys are letting me be a part of your event coming up.
It is our pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. And for those watching, be sure to hit that share button. If you have any questions, thank you, Lynn. People are saying thank you for sharing, Phaedra. You all are going to see Phaedra live and in living color in what, 10 days or 12 days, 15 days, whatever it is. But if you have any questions for her, if you have any questions about her process, while she did things, how she chose to do things, please feel free to ask, feel free to tag, feel free to hit that share button, share the video, please, and we will keep on going. That's incredible. So
Thank you.
Absolutely incredible. What I think, and you might have touched on it, but I think it's so important, after the first diagnosis, you then competed, right? How close was it from when you competed and won? May I also say that? Let's be very clear. You competed and won after the first, it was after the lumpectomy?
Yeah, so after a lumpectomy, I did United States, I did North Carolina. So there's so many different systems out there. I did North Carolina, United States. I won that state pageant, finished that. And then the next year after I gave up that title, I did Mrs. North Carolina America again. That would have been my third time. And then just a couple months after that, into the reign of that title, before going to the national title is when I was diagnosed the second time. So I went to Mrs. America, the first contestant that I know of, with tissue expanders in, wearing a swimsuit across that stage in front of thousands of people. But again, that night, it was a week long, exhausting week long of fun events. But I was so proud that I didn't give up because, at that time I had a choice, like, okay, do I just sit here and go through this cancer battle, or do I continue on doing something that got me out of the funk the last time? And I had to go. I was like, I don't care, whatever it takes. And so my doctors were like, oh, we can't do reconstruction by then. You're going to have to go with these tissue expanders in, which feel like a metal bra inside of your body. And I was like, okay. I was like, if that's what I have to do, I hope that by doing that, another woman that is potentially going through the same thing will know that she too will be okay. And so I was like, you know what, I'm doing this. It might look funny in this swimsuit, but that's okay. So that final night, walking across that stage in that swimsuit, carrying our state flag, I was a winner then, because I knew what I'd come there to do and how I conquered cancer. Regardless if I won that crown or not, I didn't, but I finished in the top 6, which I was so proud of. And then just,
awesome.
Accomplishing that goal and not letting cancer take me from that. I was a winner. Didn't matter if I got a crown or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please tell us a little bit about Classic Bride.
Absolutely. So that will be, I cannot believe it. I was telling somebody just the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be 15 years that I've been doing this. 15 years. So I was like, that's pretty awesome, right?
That is.
So I started that out of love for clothing, more pageantry stuff, like prom, like fashionable stuff. Never thought I would own a wedding gown shop. It just worked out that I ended up buying the shop. It was established in Davidson. I bought it in 2008 and haven't looked back since. We recently opened a boutique on the other side of the shop. Like, this little dress came from our little boutique. It's called Shop CB Boutique. And I love it. Brides are amazing. It can be challenging, not going to lie, some days, some brides, but for the most part, very blessed and thankful to be a part of a big, special day that a lot of people go through. I'm very thankful to be a part of that.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, Phaedra also is a business owner. She has a brick and mortar store. We will have to all make a field trip there at some point in Mass. And there it is. Vasi, you are so Johnny on the spot. So it's a boutique as well as bridal, so you can get your fabulous outfits. Phaedra, we have some incredible, you're going to meet a lot of survivors and wonderful people who have either conquered cancer or who have family members who are dealing with cancer. And one of the ladies who you're going to meet, I just want to share her comment with you. You'll see her in a few weeks, but her name is Leslie Riddle, and she says, it will be so nice meeting you in the flesh, my fellow survivor.
Thank you.
We all need to do what we need to do for our lives. She did 6 months of chemo and 6 nights of radiation, and now she has to have surgery to remove the hardened tissue that all that radiation caused. To go figure. Thank you for sharing your journey. So yes, so it's very,
thank you.
Yes, definitely. People definitely can relate and understand and know what you are, what you have been through. And I think one of the key takeaway points is you definitely have to be what I'm hearing, one of the key messages is you have to be your own advocate. You have to kind of know what's best for you. You have to do a lot of research.
Yes.
And know what's best for you. But that's really so incredible that it's 4 years, correct, this month?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
You're almost there. And please tell us also about your fur babies.
Yes, I love my fur babies. So I had one that I lost last year, Harley. I had him for almost 17 years. That was like my bestie right there. But they all have to go at some point, right? So now we have two amazing, crazy Australian Shepherds.
Yes.
One is a big guy and one's like a medium guy, but that's Crew and Pesci. So sweet. I love them. He just, whenever I came in, he's so cute. Like he does like a weird hug thing. Like he'll jump on you and like hug you. Like he just like puts his little legs
Aw.
around you. It's just really cute. It definitely makes my day at the end of the day when you've had a long day. You're like, oh, it's like that's my little
There you
baby.
go.
We haven't been blessed
Absolutely.
with children, so those are our kids.
Your
And
kids.
we know we have you're preaching to the choir. Anything else on your bucket list for this summer or this year? Are there any other pageant related platforms that you are doing? Is there anything?
Yes.
I mean, you've won, so I don't know if there's anything next for you in terms of that.
Yes. How much time do you have? I'm just kidding. So I'm
You'll
so
you'll start
excited.
part one now, and we'll schedule you with Vasi for a part two. But
Yes.
at least we'll get
Sure.
started now.
So in July, towards the end of July, I get to go compete for the title of Mrs. International in Kingsport, Tennessee. It's a week-long event. The final night is July 22nd. So I'm super excited for that, getting geared up, getting ready for all of that. Have some appearances in between. We've got one coming up in May with Kendra Scott that they're going to donate proceeds back to my Healing with Hope boxes. So I'm so excited about that. I would love to share what that is too. But yeah, I've got a couple of fun things coming up, really gearing up for the national pageant in July. So I'm so excited for that. Hopefully we can bring it home.
Exciting. And is your platform cancer awareness and advocacy? Yes.
It's early detection is key. Check your 2 on your 2 and my Healing with Hope boxes, because I will tell you, whenever I was also down, an organization similar to this sent me a box. Someone submitted my name to this organization. There was a sweet little note in there, just like, hey, we're here, we're cheering for you. You've got this kind of thing. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I worked with them for a couple years. They kind of stopped after COVID. And I was like, this is such a great idea. What can I do to kind of carry this along my way? I would like to carry it along. How can I do my own initiative and help other women like this box helped me? So I started Healing with Hope boxes, and it is a similar box. This one has a little more of like spa things in it. So like socks and lotions and lip balms, and there's books. I've got a lot of amazing people that have donated over the years, and we have wraps that we send in there too, and little notes. A lot of the queens will write notes in there, and anybody, I'd love to have any kind of donations from anyone. It can be anything that will lift someone's spirit, anything to give them that hope, to let them know that someone is thinking about them. Boxes, how I put those together.
I think
I'm very proud of those and excited to send those out, because it's amazing. Like the messages that I get back, those ladies are like, thank you so much. I needed this box when you sent it. And I'm like, okay, well, I wish I would have sent it last week, but thank you. It's just, it gives me so much joy to help someone else that I absolutely love it and just have so much passion for it.
It's incredible, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, I do feel very inspired. And I know that a lot of the people who watch us or maybe would listen this as a podcast, and, with you being so open and sharing your story, just you really tell women, don't be afraid. Whatever you go through as a challenge, you're not lonely. We are here for you. And I think, this is really incredible. I also want to say that I'm very inspired, and I'm sure that other women feel like me, like being a beauty queen, winning so many crowns, going through such a journey in your life, inspiring others, but also running a successful business. Because a lot of people struggle with balancing their life, and maybe if you'd like, you can give them a couple of tips to our viewers and listeners. How do you balance everything? Because it's time consuming, and you're for babies too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well said. One day at a time, you guys. I feel like I have to plan. You can't get everything done in one day, and you have to realize that. It's what is most important for you to get done today. Is it you calling back that bride that wants to order that dress, or is it you maybe going to go and check the mailbox to see if you have any bills? And it's just, you gotta just put it in the order that it's important, that needs to get done, and just balance it out. You've got to give your time self, and then you've got to give your spouse. I need to make sure I give my husband and my fur babies their time. So just try to divide it up as best as you can. You may not get everything done today, but don't stress out about it. You have tomorrow, one day at a time. Don't, also, once I got that cancer diagnosis, I will say I probably took a lot of things for granted, but now, I just kind of stepped back, and I think I was really up tense and tight, like, oh God, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. Or if I don't, da, da, da. I'm like, okay, Phaedra, stop. What is most important? Is it for you to take a minute for yourself to go walk? Or is it you to answer that email, or what it might be? And there's going to be different things for everybody, but you'll figure it out just one day at a time. Breathe, relax, and it's going to be fine.
I love it. I love it. To be honest with you, I always feel the same way. People are so anxious, and I like the way you put it so beautifully into words.
Thank you.
It's not, I think that gratefully we are not doctors, we are not vets. So if it's few hours later, it's not the end of the world. Or also, I would add that the different days of the week, we may have slightly different priorities.
That's right.
It's very important. And also, just you said something very important. Try to find time for yourself. And I hope you can touch a little bit more on this.
You honestly do. That is something that before my cancer, I didn't. I really, blood, sweat, and tears into my business, and into my marriage, and to my house. And, I was like, wow, I'm doing so much for everybody else, but I feel like I'm getting left behind. So, I love to run. I love to walk. That is my yoga. That is my stress reliever. So, I just tried to set time aside a day. Maybe like you said, you have different things to do each day. One day I would be like, okay, today's going to be the day I'm going to go out and do my 6-mile walk, or I'm going to go for a run. I'm not going to be able to do it on Tuesday because I've got work. And then Wednesday, I've already got something scheduled. So I just, try to put that in a couple of times a week. It may not be every day, but that's okay. At least I get it in at least twice a week, 3 times a week. I'd love to do it more, but at least I get it in there. And I feel like I kind of check it off, like, okay, I know it's coming up. It may not be today, but it's going to be tomorrow.
It's great. Yes. It's great. And I do have one last comment, and then I'm sure I'll ask questions too. I think that here it's very important, and I hope you can also tell everyone that when you do those things, the key is not to feel guilty, because I feel that you're taking 2 minutes off, let's say, to hug your baby. At the same time, you're not present, you're worried. How about you said, those 2 minutes are for my doggy or for myself. It's okay. What do you think about this?
I so agree. And it is okay. It is honestly okay. Because if you're not okay, that person that you're trying to make okay is not going to be okay. So you need to be okay to make sure everybody else is okay. And it starts with you. And it's okay to take that time for you.
That's right. I feel like it's a cliche, but I feel that it's so true.
Right.
It speaks to what you're saying. You can't pour from an empty cup. So
well said.
If you haven't filled yourself up, if you haven't done the things for yourself, then how do you can't be of use to anyone else. As they always say, when you're on an airplane and it's about to go down, they say put the mask on yourself before you put it on anyone else. So you have to, you can't be good for anyone else unless you take care of yourself. We are being asked for the link, Phaedra, for your store.
Thank you. It's at Classic Bride.
I'm sorry, I was talking. Say it again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's at Classic Bride.
At Classic Bride.
Yes, Classic Bride.
Bride, BRIDE. Bride.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so Classic Bride, and don't let the bride throw you off. It's not just a bridal shop. It is a boutique as well.
Yes, and the boutique is CB Boutique. So it's just the initial CB and then boutique.
Ah, got you. Like for Classic Bride Boutique.
Yes.
CB
Yes.
Boutique. Gotcha,
Yes.
gotcha. Okay.
And friends,
Very good.
we are going to add the links below in the description or as a comment, so don't worry, you'll be able to see them a little
Yes,
later, depending
yes.
if you're
Thank
watching or
you.
listening this. Jen, do you have any other questions?
I don't have any other questions, but my mind is already spinning, Phaedra. I think we're going to have to incorporate a CB Boutique fashion show in with our November. I'm not going to hit you with it now because that's a little bit much now. You're like, wait a minute. We've already got you working, but for November, I'm going to pitch that maybe with survivors or people whose lives have been touched by cancer. We might have to start to get to work on some things. So
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure. And is there anything else you may would like to say as final words?
Yes, I have my favorite quote that I would love to share with everyone, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
The struggle of life is one of our greatest blessings. It makes us patient, sensitive, and godlike. It teaches us that although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of recovering or overcoming it. By Helen Keller.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
This is so beautiful. Thank you
That's
so much.
wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you, everyone. You all are going to meet Phaedra in the flesh in what? 16 days.
Yes.
So we're very excited. She's going to be there to walk your fur babies. She's bringing another title holder with her. So she's coming with her entourage, with a posse. So it's very exciting. So they're all going to be there. So thank you, Phaedra, very much. And we will see you soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your time. Thank you for having me on. Have a great week. Have a blessed week. Thank you.